deeply involved in those, and they're going to be very important to the response to some of the things that happen in the next few years, and they need your support and your energy too. But having said that, there's no dearth of energy here. And those who think that the Democratic Party is downtrodden, beaten.
You know, the word amicus means friend, and sometimes the party or the organization filing the brief is in fact your friend, and sometimes they're far more interested in their own underlying policy issues to be your friend. So sometimes amicus briefs really are not helpful to the specific issues that are before the court. They may very well be policy driven, whereas we're probably going to be driven by the narrow answering of individual assignments of error. Now, having said that, in the famous Grutter case in Michigan, when it got to the United States Supreme Court, it was an amicus brief that actually resolved the case. It was filed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
So I guess I would argue that, tempting as it is to say we're all a little bit sexist, sexism as a consciously endorsed set of beliefs about men and women and their capability and their worth and how they should define themselves is probably something that lives in your conscious brain rather than your unconscious brain. Having said that, I don't believe that we can all go home and pat ourselves on the back safe in the knowledge that we came here today, so we're definitely not sexists.
I think where we're headed is to become more national. Now, having said that, what I really mean is local. That sounds like a paradox.
It does.
In this country, we criminalize the color of a person's skin. That is clear, and it starts with policing, and it ends all the way at the end of the line with parole and probation, and who gets prison versus who gets community-based correction, and so on. Having said that, unfortunately, the research shows us that the better job we do of helping Americans understand disproportionate impact of the criminal justice system on people of color, so the blacker we paint the criminal justice system, is the less white Americans want to do something about it.
Let me repeat, I am not going to release individuals who endanger the American people. Al-Qaeda terrorists and their affiliates are at war with the United States, and those that we capture, like other prisoners of war, must be prevented from attacking us again. Now, having said that, we must recognize that these detention policies cannot be unbounded. They can't be based simply on what I or the executive branch decide alone. Now look, it's never been easy to get 535 people here in Washington to agree on anything. And you know, budget battles and debates, those are as old as the Republic. It's even harder when you have divided government. And right now, you've got Republicans controlling the House of Representatives, Democrats controlling the Senate, Democrat in the White House. So this is always going to be tough. Having said that, I cannot remember a time when one faction of one party promises economic chaos if it can't get 100% of what it wants. That's never happened before. But that's what's happening right now.
Some of my time I spend in a small amount, really, as a political activist. Just a few weeks ago, I had an op-ed in the New York Times arguing that we should not rebuild our nuclear ICBM force, and giving the reasons why I believe that. Having said that, I must tell you I do not believe that op-ed will have any effect whatsoever, that we will go ahead and build our ICBM forces.